It's a great day for baseball here from New York, and the Pirates are here at Citi Field with a chance to take a series victory over the New York Mets. And welcome to the Big Apple. Joe Block and Bob Walk with you here today as the Pirates yesterday in a tighter affair. The first game of the series was an offensive one, and here today with a chance to win that series behind a rookie, Trevor Williams, who's really starting to make a name for himself.
Hey, I think he's done outstanding, except for the very first inning that he pitched as a starter. When he went into that rotation, when Tyon went on the DL, he knew there was an opportunity for him, and I think he's really taken hold of it. One of the best things about him that I really like is his ability to command the fastball. He knows how to pitch, and he moves it up and down, in and out, really puts it where he wants to, and probably can throw the ball inside to right-handers as good as anybody we got on the team.
And the last 4 times around, especially, what really stood out to me is the pitches per inning. He's been efficient and effective so far.
He certainly has, and that's because he's not afraid of those bats. He will pitch to contact, a lot like what we see from Nova.
And for Trevor Williams, he needs to try to keep the ball in the ballpark, because that's something that the Mets have done quite a bit, hit the home runs against the Pirates so far in this season series over the last couple of weeks. And the Mets certainly have been a good offense this year too.
Well, you can still pitch to contact with these guys, but you just want to stay away from that heavy contact, the barrel of the bat. Get it out on the end, get it on the hands, because that heavy contact is what's been beating us. Look at those 12 home runs. Got to get away from that. Got to keep the ball in the yard.
In this series, the Mets have hit 9 of their 11 runs have come in off the home run. So we got to limit that for the Mets here today. And the Pirates have gotten some home runs of their own. Josh Bell has homered in 2 straight games. And we'll see if he can keep his hot streak going here tonight against the Mets. Sunday matinee series finale coming up, and Josh Bell and the Buccos looking for a victory in this series. And look at Josh Bell so far in this series. He's been streaky so far in his rookie campaign, but he's starting to heat back up again.
Oh, even veteran guys that have power, they're pretty much always streaky too. So it's not unusual, I don't think, to have him get hot, cold, being a rookie for sure. But certainly when he heats up, he hits up. He hits up and out of here. And that's something that we've talked about this before. This team really needs that home run power, and in his first full year, he's been able to provide that.
And you look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders, and he's accumulating some big numbers amongst Major League rookies. And let's go back to our studios. A history-making Saturday, and Dan Potash with a game break.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, the largest health.
Do it back at PNC Park. They do it here in New York too. And Neil Walker having some fun with some young Mets fans here this afternoon.
Some DeGrom fans.
And Andrew McCutchen. He has been swinging the bat well, having some more fun out there too. Good to see him smiling more often. Pirates have a chance to take 2 out of 3 from the Mets here today. And Clint Hurdle's 9, the RAV4 lineup for the Buccos today. Adam Frazier back atop the order with Harrison. John Jason will bat third today. Freese cleans up, and then Bell fifth. Andrew McCutchen, those last 7 games, 364 with a couple of home runs. Jordy Mercer's been red hot too. Cervelli back in the lineup, and Trevor Williams will bat 9th, looking for his first big league hit.
Take a look at Hill's numbers, just a couple of ball games. There's not really a whole lot there as far as his stats. 4 walks, 4 Ks, and 6 innings.
Making his second major league start. And the Honda defense for New York today. There's Wilmer Flores stationed at third. Cabrera, Walker, and Duda join him in the infield. Conforto, Granderson, and Bruce in the Mets outfield today. And Travis d'Arnaud is the backstop for the Metropolitans. Adam Frazier showing a few signs of coming out of a little skid, but still that overall average over 300. Tyler Pill, part of the fill-in mix for the Mets, who have had a lot of injuries to their rotation, but they're getting healthy soon.
Not a lot of velocity on the fastball of his. He's going to be one of those type of pitchers that certainly has to stay out of the middle of the strike zone with the #1 pitch. Looks like he's got some decent movement on it, though.
Noah Syndergaard among those not currently healthy enough to pitch. Lugo, Matz nearing return. Syndergaard out for the time being, though. He is the most electric of the Mets bunch.
That movement, I think, got Frazier there. He seemed to turn back. He asked if that was a strike. That's about the only question you can ask. But watch the movement off this fastball. There's not much velocity, but look at the run on it. It looked like it was going to be down the middle, and it ran off the plate. And then you could see Frazier turn and ask, was that a strike? It looked like his answer was no, it was outside.
And pitch cast shows the same thing, though. By the time he committed his swing, it was a strike.
Yeah, it's almost like a little short slider or a left cutter from a left-hander.
You don't see that kind of movement very often. Josh Harrison also hitting over 300. Those two atop the order, both getting on base. Harrison drawing a few more walks this year. And the umpiring crew today with Jim Reynolds, the crew chief, working the plate today. Craig Gibson over at first. Lance Barrett is the umpire at second base, and a call-up umpire, Stu Sherwater, umpires third today. Harrison a career best with that .367 on base percentage. So you get those two guys atop the order getting on base with regularity.
Jay has just been putting on a show now for a month.
Driving the ball.
They're playing some great defense, especially when he plays second base.
Great range.
A couple of nice plays last night.
He's been making plays that you don't think are going to happen, and then he makes them, and then you go, all right, wow. Last 10 games, 356.
They're doing it all.
And he'll find his way on again, a base hit. So the first two, you kind of figure one of the two are going to get on just about every time they come up in that order.
You see the movement doesn't run away and off the end of the bat, of course, with a right-hand hitter. It moves inside, hits him on the label. But Jay able to just fight it off best he can and loop it in.
John Jaso will get the start in right field today as the #3 hitter. Been swinging the bat better after a cool start. Harrison has stolen 5 bases, been thrown out 3 times. And d'Arnaud has thrown out 2 of the 10 attempting to steal. There's a line drive base hit. Harrison will put on the brakes. Back-to-back base hits.
One of the problems last night just wasn't getting guys on, getting hits. They out-hit the Mets, but they couldn't get that key hit and drive in some runs.
1 for 12 with runners in scoring position last night in a 4-2 defeat. Jaso getting the start over Polanco today, who Glenn Earl said he's played every day since coming back from that ankle concern, wanted to just give him a day, coupled with the off day tomorrow. David Freese back in the cleanup role today. Average down to 242. He has not had that good streak with the bat since coming off the DL, as he did prior. And there's a base hit, and a big one. And I'll get the Pirates on the board first.
Oh, look at that.
And the runners will move up on a very wild throw. Here on Conforto. And the RBI for David Freese, scoring Harrison.
Hill went the wrong way.
His slider is like a little short.
His slider is just like a little short thing. And there's the base hit, and you know, as a pitcher right now, where you need to be going is over in between home and third, so you can kind of go either way when you see which way the throw is. Hill is he's on the first base side of home plate. He was in no position to block the runners from moving up 90, and now he's got a little mess on his hands. Another single, and he's up down by 3 already.
And as we detailed for you, Josh Bell's been hot. He's homered in each of the last 2 games.
These are the situations that are so important, especially to a team like the Pirates. It's not really a home run hitting team, but to get these key hits like this right here. You got 2 guys in scoring position. You got only 1 out, so you got at least 2 shots at it. Somebody's got to pick them up.
Trevor Williams trying to give him a big lead with which to work early, already with a run across. And an off-speed
changeup
on 2-0. I guess a guy like Pill, right? He can throw anything in any count, right?
Pill, he better be able to. I mean, stuff-wise, that's a little short, but he looks like he's got very good confidence on where he's throwing the ball as far as location. That's going to be his main weapon, is to be able to move it in and out, change speeds. There's that little short slider that you heard Jay Hay talk about as he was going back to the dugout. This is exactly what he was saying. It probably breaks about maybe 3 or 4 inches.
Just try to get guys to miss hit it.
Yeah, you're pitching to contact, but you don't want solid contact.
And with the infield back, a run will score. Jay Show comes home, and an RBI for Bell. It's 2-0.
It'll take a base hit now to knock in that 3rd run. McCutch, he's been a different hitter for, you know, a number of things, being in the bottom part of the lineup. Maybe has made him not put so much pressure on himself, although I really would kind of downplay that. It's more about how he's changed his approach to hitting and trying to use all fields more often. That's really the difference.
We have certainly seen that.
The fact that he's been moved down in the order, I think, is more of a coincidence.
Well, in those 8 games in the number 6 spot, hitting at .346 with very good power too, slugging over .650. And he's got Freese at 3rd with 2 outs. Trying to pick up a 3rd run. Not underneath it. And who wants it? Granderson. Pirates pick up a pair. And that'll boost Trevor Williams as he goes out for the 1st. For Terry Collins' Mets. And he pens this 9 here today. Michael Conforto back atop the order with Asdrubal Cabrera and Jay Bruce. Neil Walker cleaning up. Lucas Duda in that 5 spot. He is 9 for 20 against the Pirates with 4 home runs this year. Wilmer Flores hitting great in the last 5 weeks or so. Granderson, Darno, and Pill round out the Mets order.
Take a look at Trevor's numbers. The ERA is not good, but that's mainly because of that 1 inning in Los Angeles. But since then, I mean, I don't know if you could have any complaints. Maybe want to see him throw 1 more inning than he has been. What has he been averaging? I think 5 1/3, 5 2/3. Like to see him push that up to 6, but you can't complain about the way he's gone after hitters.
One game is not a trend, but in his last start he did go those 6 innings and only 67 pitches.
Let's hope it's a trend.
Out toward the gap. And extra bases for Michael Conforto.
Well, this is going to be a test for him, as we've seen the last couple of nights. These guys are swinging the bats. They are hitting the ball hard, barreling it up, getting the ball over the fence. And that obviously is not a home run. It just goes for a double, but it shows you, I mean, how they are powering the baseball here in New York, at least in this series.
Well, the Mets overall, out of the 30 teams, the 7th most runs scored per game. So they're a top quarter of all teams in offense. And a guy in Cabrera, hitless in his last 10, but hitting .429 with runners in scoring position. This outfit overall hitting over 300. Yeah, they've got guys, and remember, they're still without Cespedes. David Wright is with those back problems, has been out for a long time now. I mean, you think about at least with Cespedes when they get him back. And
one thing they need to do, the pitching is where they really need to kind of fix things.
They are dead last in run prevention, so
that's where they need to make a big difference.
And having no Noah Syndergaard, Steven Matz and Seth Lugo probably going to be back, especially Matz, maybe in the next week or so. So that is bound to change at least somewhat. Matt Harvey has not been as effective.
No, he's not the
prior to the last surgery.
Right, the Matt Harvey that they had before. That's for sure.
Terry Collins trying to keep the ship afloat. Mets coming in a half dozen games under 500. Soft contact. Williams, one of the best in the league at getting soft contact. What's our Rivers Casino tips to win today, Buck?
Hopefully Williams can stay on track. We've talked about the progress he has made and the good work that he has done his last 4 starts. And a Diesel Electric, when they put the Diesel Electric together to build those locomotives, that really pulled the freight. Well, the Diesel Electric on this team in the last, let's say, 2 weeks, it's been the guys in the middle of the diamond. Jay Hay has just been doing a great job. He already has scored a run in this game, and it really has been fun seeing Mercer start to get rewarded for that good contact that he's really been making all year. It's really been paying off for him the last couple of weeks. He's been hitting the ball and getting the results as good as anybody. Well, they're the Diesel Electric locomotive for the club today.
Very reliable.
I want to see some more pulling of the freight from those two this afternoon.
They're anticipating Bruce pulling the ball in the infield.
And if they do all of that, it'd stay on track, then it'll be an enjoyable train ride down to Baltimore.
I like when you come up with these things for the tips. I always got a theme
like
going.
Tips.
Yeah, I like theme tips.
The team will make an unusual train ride. Don't do that very often. Down to Baltimore after the game.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle was saying that his first time in probably 30 years he's done that.
We went down to Washington, D.C. a few years ago. That would be the last time we did it. I don't know how long ago that was, maybe 10 years.
Now 1-2 on Jay Bruce. Hey, what do you make today of there are going to be the top 5 will bat left-handed, 6 of 7 and 7 of 9 against Williams are going to bat left-handed against him.
Major leagues. I mean, that's the way it is. Well, that's a excellent strikeout there. 1 out, and Bruce can't get the ball put in play. Infield back. They need contact. And talk about locating the fastball. That's what this pitch is all about. It's 94, which is pretty decent.
Cervelli's glove didn't barely move.
But the location is what beat Bruce there, up and in. And commanding that fastball is I think, as we see him go along in his career, that's going to be, I mean, his main, claim to success. Is he pretty much can do what he wants with that pitch as far as location. What were we talking about before this strike?
Well, lefties, and that's but that's what I was wanting to see right there is can he come in and locate, right on that inner edge of the plate to left-handed batters today.
It becomes a big factor in the big leagues. You see a lot more lineup stacking at this level. Coming up through the minor leagues, there's prospects that have to play, pretty much every day. Doesn't matter who's pitching against them. This guy's got to play. There's schedules to maintain. As far as how many at bats so and so gets every week and that sort of thing. So you don't get managers stacking one way or other in the minor leagues like you do at the big league level. So if you're going to start here, if you're a right-hander, you got to figure out how to at least tread water, do something that where the left-hand hitters don't wear you out.
Hitting .288 against Williams this year. He's fallen behind 3-0 to Walker, who has hit safely in each of his 9 games against the Pirates in his career.
That big home run yesterday on the 3-1 pitch, and that's what he's thinking right now.
In the first inning.
Yeah, with 2 outs and he's way ahead in the count. He's looking for something just right down the middle.
And instead he'll take the free pass.
But as I said yesterday, if you do, be extra careful with Walker. Now you have Duda coming up, and Duda right now is smoking hot as anybody.
Yeah.
So Walker, who's hit us very well, is the frying pan, but you jumped out into the fire in this spot.
And so a conference, and that's the first walk Williams has given up in 3 starts. He did not allow a walk in either of his previous 2. And Duda, last 12 games he's driven in 14. He's hit 6 home runs. It's not just against the Pirates. Got that early 2-0 lead, trying to hold it.
That was a nice way to start off, get that call on a fastball down and in like that. The reason you saw Cervelli walk out of the shot there is there's no third baseman right now.
Trying to look the runner back.
Well, he doesn't have to come back. There's no reason for him to, in reality, you shouldn't be able to look him back because the runner's going, well, what are you going to do? Why are you staring at me? Who are you going to throw it to? The umpire? There's nobody there.
What are you going to do? Chase after me? Just stand on the back.
So I don't even know why Conforto's going back to the bag. It makes, I've talked about this for the last 3 years when people first start doing this. When you play your third baseman at shortstop with a runner at third, I mean, he can come down halfway and just stand and say, go ahead, throw it back to the pitcher. But nobody does that.
I think it's just habit that they go back and retouch the base.
Look where he could be right now.
right at Frazier. And Williams gets out of it. Strands the leadoff double. And we're through an inning this afternoon with the Pirates leading 2-0.
The largest health system, rated #1 in the region for all the things that matter most. And by Kenny Ross Subaru. Total confidence pricing. Let's go Bucks!
On a Sunday afternoon, bringing the kids out. Seeing a lot of Bucco fans here in the Big Apple.
And a Las Vegas fan there too. The Raider hat on.
That's right. They'll be out there in 3 years. Pillbox cap, and yeah, everybody got a salted bread product. I think that's pretty much obligatory here. And between innings,
Don't like that.
conversation with the grounds crew on a cloudy day.
There is a green blob to our northwest.
Oh boy. Isn't it funny though? I mean, they're following it just like we do. I mean, they might have a contact.
They might not
with
have the same app that we got.
Yeah.
I have the John Wayner weather app.
That cost them a couple bucks. Meanwhile, Jordy Mercer at the plate, and I was looking at it today. Since he's gone on this little hot streak, and it's been 12 games now, he's hit .440 on that span. He's 6th best in slugging.
Too, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not just batting average.
In that span.
He's been popping the ball over the fence. He's been getting some key hits also. You know, 9th inning type tie the game hits.
And he's been one of the best with runners at scoring position on the Pirates, if not the best. Now look at that, 5 doubles. Throwing a triple in that mix, 3 home runs. That's 2 weeks of hitting .440 with major power.
You know, another thing too about him, that it's like he kind of flies under the radar all the time. He hasn't made an error in over a month. Playing some good shortstop.
I was talking with him the other day about that, just how being steady. Jeff Branson, Pirates hitting coach, and he stayed with his same approach this whole time. Remember, he was batting 200.
Yeah.
But a lot of hard outs, and there are guys that hit 200 that aren't making or hitting into a lot of hard outs. It's not just a way to soften somebody hitting 200. And he knew that he liked his at bats, and so he just kept doing the same thing. And now the results have kind of evened itself out.
You have to have that self-confidence to be able to do that, to be able to realize, okay, it's no big deal. I'm hitting the ball well. I'm not getting the results. Not going to panic. First month of the season, I'm staying with it, and they'll start falling, and they have. And with the balls he hits over the fence, so there's no one out there to catch him. So it's another good way to make him fall in.
That makes it easy. Well, Mercer grew up near a farm. His dad, ran a farm out there, and he thought, a lot of the consistency of running a farm might be where he kind of got that confidence and just that approach of you go back out and you just do your work every day, and before you know it, harvest.
He took a little bit of a borderline pitch there, and sometimes the call goes the other way, and that's what happened on the strike 3 pitch. It was right at the top of the strike zone.
Francisco Cervelli back in the lineup. He has been ill for the last couple of weeks, been playing through it, but a late scratch on Friday night, and Elias Diaz able to come through with 6 RBI day, and that guy been waiting to see Cervelli. Reminds me of a couple games I went to growing up. I'd want to go, I went to San Diego one time. I went to Chicago one time. I wanted to see Sammy Sosa in the midst of all those home runs. Just as a baseball fan, he didn't play that day. I went to San Diego. I wanted to see the great Tony Gwynn, and he got the day off. And it's like your one trip, your one game that you get to see at this place or whatever. So, for him, he wants to see his favorite player. Good thing he's in the lineup today. So glad for him.
Needs to watch.
And great seats.
Cervelli always a good eye. That pitch is a little off the plate.
We're talking about the hot hitting of Mercer. Cervelli plugged in that 8th spot. We haven't seen him there this year. Why not keep Mercer a little bit higher in the order? With 16 runs scored in the series. Yeah, Cervelli swinging the bat well, last 10. But, why not keep the lineup pretty much kind of the way it's been? 12 runs in the opener, 2 yesterday, I should say, so 14 total in the series. I beg your pardon. But a lot of hits last night, even though you didn't cash in on them. Still a good offensive night in that regard. Now, a little rain falling now. Arnett Flores. So 2 up and 2 down in the Pirates' second. And enjoy an afternoon at the ballpark on June the 10th when the Pirates host the Marlins at 4:05. And the first 20,000 fans get a Pirates t-shirt thanks to Sheets. Go to pirates.com/free shirts Saturday and get your tickets.
A free shirt night here Friday, I believe. Wasn't it Friday they were giving away the free shirts? They gave, I think, 75 to one patron.
I think the 74 people donated theirs. That was funny to see. Jacob deGrom shirt giveaway. Williams still looking for that first big league hit. With a 1-2-3 inning for the rookie Tyler Pill. There's deGrom. Pirates up 2-0.
Lead here at Citi Field as we hit the bottom half of inning number 2. I'm Robbie Smikowski. Well, Francisco Cervelli has been keeping his main focus on baseball despite a lot of unrest going on in his native Venezuela.
I think our job here is to let the world know what's going on. We need help. That's all. That's the reason why I'm doing this, because I'm not in politics. I don't want to be. I'm just a Venezuelan human being who love and feel really bad about the situation.
So there's a basic shortage of human needs in Cervelli's native Venezuela, and he's using his platform as an athlete to speak out to try to help. He tries to send as many supplies as he can back home, along with Felipe Rivero and bullpen catcher Herberto Andrade, Jose Osuna as well. But to see the full story on a very emotional Francisco Cervelli, he opens up on this. Watch Inside Pirates Baseball following Pirates postgame for the full story. And Joe and Bob, really, you have to have a lot of respect for Francisco Cervelli and what he's doing, using his position as a famous athlete from Venezuela to try to bring help down there.
Yeah, it's a humanity issue that's going on down there, and you know, IPB will detail more of what's going on. If you're into reading too the Players Tribune, he penned a really thoughtful article in recent times about that, but that's been weighing very heavily on Cervelli, and you can only imagine he has friends and family back there, long ways away. There's a lot going on beside just baseball in his mind, and many of the others that you mentioned, Robbie. Thanks for bringing that to light. Fellow Venezuelan Wilmer Flores out of Valencia. Two may have had a brief word before the at-bat commenced too. It's been a unified effort around all the Venezuelan-born players too. Now that draws the count full. Trevor Williams worked around that leadoff double in the first inning.
And that last pitch kind of shows you a little bit about what Trevor's all about.
And a gapper for Flores. Hitting .368 since the calendar turned to May, and that's a long time to be this hot.
It was a 3-1 pitch, and he didn't just give in to the count and throw the fastball down the middle. He still tried to spot it, on the bottom, part of the plate. You see the number 5 pitch? That was the pitch that ran at the 3-2. That's a quality strike in a hitter's count, and that's, I think, why Trevor, over the years is going to be very good, because he's got that ability to make those pitches. He doesn't have to just give in and throw a strike. He can throw a good strike in those counts.
That pitch on the edge, but up.
The one that got hit, he probably did not want it up that high, but he wanted to throw it on the outside corner. He accomplished that, but he did wander upstairs a little, and instead of maybe being a ground ball that way, because it was elevated a little bit, the ball was able to be put in the air by Flores.
And now we'll see if he can work around this leadoff double with the bottom of the order coming up. Saw that average. Granderson under 200.
Well, one of the big keys to getting out of a situation like this, he was unable to do it last time, but it's to keep the guy at second base, get that first out, and still have the leadoff double at second. Now that doesn't mean if he gets to third he's automatically going to score, but that really makes it a lot more difficult for you.
Yeah, that fly ball could score him easily.
The key is to get this out, not allow Granderson to pull the ball. Now, he was a little unlucky last time. Cabrera got the swinging bunt, which moved the runner over. And that's just basic round ball meets round bat, luck of the game type stuff. A little late on that. I mean, that's what you want to do right there. You don't want Granderson to be able to hook the ball. Now, a lot of times too, when you get ahead of somebody, if you really know the guy's committed to trying to pull the ball and he's really trying to hook, you don't have to stay fastball on him. You can go off speed, and he'll be so far out in front, you're hoping for a swing and a miss.
Another 1-2. Base hit for Granderson. Flores had to make sure it got through.
It went fastball, and Granderson, he knows what his job is. Even if he makes an out, he wants to hit it to the right side, and he was able to do it. See, that ball drifted back just a little bit. Cervelli had it set up on the inside half of the plate, and that's not a big miss. You're talking only missing the spot by 3 or 4 inches.
And even with the infielders collected near that side, able to move Flores to third on that base hit. Well, play back, trade the run for 2 outs, keep the lead that way. You got the number 8 hitting d'Arnaud ahead of the pitcher. He's hit the Pirates well this year. In his career, I should say, .419 lifetime against the Pirates. One of only 2 guys batting right-handed today against Trevor Williams. Ground ball. And they'll get 2 just like they wanted. No RBI as Flores is in, but now you got the pitcher up and you can get out of it.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe not best case scenario. Best case, obviously, you come out of it without giving up any runs, but that's what you're really hoping for right there. To get the double play, get the 2 outs, have Pill come up for the last out of the inning, and just minimize the damage. You're a starting pitcher. That is your job. Minimize damage. If you give up a run, make it a single. Not too many teams are good at building a picket fence.
Well, with a bit of a drive.
Yeah,
let's see that from the pitcher very often.
1 pitch, 3 outs.
And it keeps the pitch count down. Baseball break. Big day around baseball yesterday. The Astros winning their 9th in a row yesterday. They've got a 12.5 game lead over the Angels. Kyle Schwarber of the Cubs, one of 7 grand slams around baseball last night, the first of his career. Tell you what, the Houston Astros, Sports Illustrated told us 3 years ago that they were going to win the World Series this year. 40 wins. They lead every team in the American League by 6.5 games already.
Well, it certainly is one of the reasons I'm not in the prediction business. Is when they went to the American League, I'm sure I didn't say it on the air, but to everybody else, I was like, well, I really feel sorry for them. They're going to get crushed in that American League West. There's all those big spending teams, and you get Seattle, you got the Angels, you got Texas. I mean, how are they ever going to win anything? Well,
well, yeah. Well is right.
They're showing why. They're better than everybody else.
Young nucleus. Kind of a controversial way of rebuilding. Jeff Luhnow was named the GM. He wanted to lose his. I mean, they didn't try to lose. You know what I'm saying? But they wanted to pare down the roster. They ended up losing a lot of games. Paring down payroll as well. As Frazier wrapping a base hit. Never automatic that it's just one. And the Jets turned on. Leadoff double. And sometimes the speed can buy an extra base.
Yep. All right down the pipe.
Good to see Frazier put some better swings on the ball too lately too.
That ball didn't run off the plate like strike 3 pitch did on him. But Brewers had to go down into that slide to cut the ball off, and the grass might be a little damp out there with the little drizzle we've been having. He slid along for about 10-12 feet before he could find his feet again. That gave Frazier a couple extra steps.
Push the button just a little too hard. But does move up the runner. I'll give him a sacrifice on that.
Yeah, that's one of those win-win situations. You drop down the bunt, maybe you get a hit, maybe you don't, but even if you don't get the hit, you're not going to get an at bat, and you're going to do something good with your out. You're going to move Frazier to third base and set up a good RBI opportunity for Jaso.
Who had a base hit back of the first.
Infield will have to come in now. Guess they don't necessarily have to, but they will.
2-1 game in the third.
It's early enough to where they could, you know, they could probably concede another run and play back and try to make sure that they don't get caught up in a big inning. But
well, that 3 spot for the Pirates coming into today hitting just 188. Least productive in baseball. All the different people that have been in there, but Jaso with a base hit. Could be a productive AB here. Add to the lead. Frazier's first extra base hit since May 25th. Leadoff double there with 1 out now at third.
Jason not real happy with his 2-0 approach there. That's one of those like 2-0, 3-1. Those are those counts where you want to just kind of keyhole one pitch in one spot.
If that's fair, it is.
It's a double.
Well, Conforto's going to contest that. Another wild throw by Conforto, and it'll be his second error of the day. Give him an RBI double, and the second throwing error by the left fielder Conforto.
It definitely is a huge error for 2 reasons. I called this a double, but I was maybe a little in a hurry to do that because I think Conforto, once he got the ball and looked, he had a decent shot at throwing Jaso out. So not only does he not get the out, but Jaso's at third. The infield still got to come in now. Another nice opportunity. Infield's trying to move back a little bit. Not a lot of speed at third, but they're still in a lot further than they would be if, obviously, if Jason was at second base.
Playing halfway.
Makes it a little bit easier to get one through there. Cuts down a little of their range. They're playing halfway.
Freeze drove in a run with a base hit his first time. As the average up to 248. Tyler Pill, the Mets starter, his second major league start, does not throw hard. Has been in AAA for parts or full the last 3 seasons. Kind of filling in with an injury-riddled rotation. There's going to be plenty deep enough. And Bruce just able to haul it in.
And Bruce was a little lost.
Tayso scores on the sacrifice fly. It's 4-1.
Bruce did not know where he was at. He jumped up like he was going up on the wall, and he was still a good step and a half away. He came up firing to second for some reason.
David Freese, an RBI in each of his plate appearances.
Why do you think he came up firing to second?
That is unknown.
Maybe he thought he almost played that into a double.
Now, if he dropped it, yeah. Broke his bat. And a productive inning for
Nice
the
inning.
Pirates.
Very nice inning.
Picking up a couple of runs, cashing in both doubles. And Buccos up 4-1. Leading 4-1 as we start the bottom of the third. The Pirates and the Penguins both defeated last night. Both teams still with a shot of a series win. Conforto with a double, leading off the first inning, and nice job by Trevor Williams to strand him. He's been a good hitter, getting some regular playing time with Cespedes out, getting over 300, getting on base better than 400. A lot of power. One of those top draft picks. He just struggled, kind of had that sophomore slump last year, got sent down to the minors after being the 10th overall pick 3 years ago. But when you hit 422 at AAA, open some eyes again, and so Conforto being a high pick stayed on the roster as a reserve. Cabrera will be next.
Be a little tester inning, you would think, for Williams after getting that nice lead, and now he's got the top of the lineup coming up. A lineup that's been hitting the ball extremely well. A challenge for him.
Blue ponchos, blue cotton candy. Another base hit for Conforto. Leadoff man on in each of the first 3 innings for the Mets. And our Allegheny Health Network injury update for you. Yoenis Cespedes been out over a month now with that strained hamstring, close to returning, was close to returning, but had a setback last week on a rehab assignment. And also David Wright, been more than a year since he's played in a game. Neck and back issues, spinal stenosis, a shoulder impingement. It's been very difficult for him to get back. Really the face of the Mets for so long. But offensively, they have more than weathered the storm. And he's right at Jaso. And not very hard hit. That's something that Williams has really excelled at. He's been one of the top guys in the league at getting that soft contact. Is that because of the variety of speeds that he, I mean, he's using the changeup quite a bit?
Spotting the fastball. It's soft contact when you stay out of the middle of the bat. So when you move the fastball in and out, I mentioned earlier how well he throws inside to right-hand hitters. That's one of the big things that you get in there. You get a lot of jam shots. I mean, the ball's not coming off with any kind of velocity when it's hitting on the Louisville Slugger label. Or I guess nowadays it's they're still Louisville Sluggers, but
Sandbat.
Quite a variety now. But you know what I mean. I think that's one of the reasons is he really does such a great job of staying out of the middle of the plate with that fastball. Soft contact off the end of the bat.
No, it drops in, but hey, if guys are going to do that, especially Bruce, a big power guy.
Yeah, it's
a little bloops single.
But that's what you were talking about. There's a perfect example of soft contact, and he's not throwing the ball. Look where it is. That's actually off the plate. There's a changeup we were talking about also. But the location, a little bit of run on the ball, and it goes off the end of the bat.
Well, the way Bruce has been swinging it, feel good about that. Happens to drop in. Well, 2 on with 1 out. Neil Walker did just that his first time around. And he gets that ground ball. Just in time for 2. And a couple of times today, Williams has gotten out of jams with the double play ball. And rolling right along on a 9-pitch inning. Give up 2 hits and still get out of the inning without a run on 9 pitches.
Electric to diesel, double play.
Keep that train rolling. 4-1 Buccos. major league debut against these Mets. Batting leadoff, got his first career hit in his first at bat. By the end of the game, had his first stolen base, walk, a run, and run batted in as well. And the Bucks beat the Mets 11-6, and the first of many times we'd see that in the outfield.
Hey, where'd he get that second hit? Went the other way with it. Really, the first hit right up the middle. First two hits, one right up the middle, and the other one toward right center.
And you were pointing that out his last at bat. That's what we've been seeing here this last week and a half or so.
It's not necessarily. It's not about him hitting sixth. It's about his approach to hitting has changed in the last week.
Well, that game-winning home run.
We're not
last
seeing
week to right field.
So many ground balls to third and short.
That home run he hit, the game winner, the first opposite field home run he's hit this year. After hitting 6 the year before, 10 the year before that.
He's always had easy power to right center.
And that time pulls it.
Here he does pull the ball to third, but it's a line drive up over the head.
That time Conforto getting a little applause, getting that throw in accurately.
The thing too is it's not that he can never pull the ball. It's you want to pull the ball in certain situations. Now what are you going to do with the ball that's up and in? You're going to pull it. And that's the ball he should be pulling. Soft, up and in.
And collects a base hit. After his 8-game hitting streak ended last night, starts a new one.
Should point out too that Conforto did not throw that ball over anybody's head.
He's made 2 throwing errors today. Softly hit. They're only going to get the one. So McCutcheon at second with 1 out. Mercer 0 for 2.
This is something you don't see Jordy do very often. He's one of the best guys on the team, I think, at hitting the ball where it's pitched. You know, pulling the ball when it's in, hitting the ball the other way when it's away. That was a case there where he went out and he tried to hook a ball that was away from him. And that's almost always going to be a ground ball to left side.
And he is very rarely swinging at the first pitch, too. You know, one of the fewest first pitch swings among hitters. So McCutcheon in scoring position. Cervelli will try to bring him in. And a hot shot. Joey Cora is going to put on the brakes. Cervelli gets a hit with the man in scoring position. But Conforto keeps him at third.
And the reason Cutch can't score on this is he had to freeze. He wasn't sure if this ball was going to get thrown. Now he's taking off. He had to wait till that ball gets through the infield before he can run. There's the freeze. See the freeze? He actually took a little half step back.
And Conforto doing a nice job charging that ball too. So now first and third. Trevor Williams. Running situation 0 for 11. We saw Glasnow swing away in this situation last night, but Glasnow, a rare pitcher that has some hitting acumen. Good bunt.
I believe it doesn't matter who's hitting. If it's a pitcher, sacrifice bunt is the play right there. Because look at the situation. You have one of your better hitters coming up to the plate now, where a single puts you 2 more runs ahead. So I mean, you got to bunt. And then if you let, I mean, even a real good running pitcher, like say, remember Mike Hampton?
Yeah.
Somebody like that. He's still, if he hits a ground ball, it's going to be a double play.
I mean, if you hit a hard hit ground ball,
just a regular ground ball is a double play.
Oh yeah.
So I think you got to lay down that bunt, and you got to create this situation for one of your better hitters. And even if they pitch around Frazier, decide that they don't like to give him anything to hit, when a single's going to drive. Then you got J.A. stepping up there, and I mean, how hot is he? So this is a scenario you want to try and put the Mets in this kind of a deal right here, where you got first and third, and a single's going to score you 2 runs.
Frazier, a double his last time. Starting to see some better at bats out of him. Only a matter of time with him. And that was a ball, that fastball that ran away from him, that fooled Frazier, struck him out the first time around. It was probably a little closer to plate than that one, but
well, he's seen it now. He knows.
Yeah.
He knows what the movement is on that fastball. Now they have all the video. I'm sure that he knew what to expect once he got up there. But it's
got to be different when you're standing there.
As you can imagine, watching all the video, having guys tell you, okay, his ball does this, ball does that. It's not the same as seeing it.
Josh Edgen is the lefty listening. Phil at 64 pitches, but struggling here. He's given up 7 hits. Pirates could really make this one-sided with a 2-out hit.
Just one more base hit here, and they've broke the game open pretty nicely with an early 5-run lead.
Now this is a key point, so Darno want to make sure makes his pitch on Frazier, a good hitter. A lot of injuries to the Mets rotation, so Pill gets a chance. And more than the pitching coach for New York. McCutchen with a leadoff single. He's at third. Cervelli singled with 1 out. He's at second. And with 2 outs, just foul.
Man, that would have been sweet.
Then you got another man in scoring position.
Yeah. Keep the line moving. It's Ferris is coming over the bag, but this severe spin on it really hooked hard.
With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, hitting .300 with a couple of home runs as well. These were the situations he was in Atlanta with those 3-run home runs he hit.
Don't get greedy now. Take a single.
Yeah, McCutchen at the ready in case Pill bounces one up there.
Buck Granderson center field. Look how shallow he is. He's on the where they've cut Mets out in the grass. I mean, there is a ton of room behind him.
And Frazier can drive the ball. Spoils another. That's about Pill's best at 90. I'm liking this at bat by Frazier. Spoils another one.
Getting a little of that Shea Stadium ambiance right now. Airplane going over.
The reverberation of the engines from nearby LaGuardia Airport. Another 2-2. Little dribbler. That's going to be a heap of trouble for the Mets. Everyone is safe. The run is in. It's 5-1.
Well, it wasn't that base hit to drive in too, but you'll take it.
Little swing and bunt.
Cued right off the end of the bat, it looked like. That is so close to being a swing and miss. Could have hits the tip of the bat like that.
Look at Frazier's face. Whoa.
I mean, he couldn't have squared around and laid down an actual bunt better than that. Look at that. There's just no way.
Nothing anybody can do.
Flores playing deep because there's 2 strikes.
Hey, give Frazier credit. I mean, he 8-pitch at bat. Another 2-strike hit for him. Driving in a man with, well, I shouldn't say driving, scoring a runner in scoring position. He's done a good job of that all year too.
Drove him in. It was a short drive.
Yeah.
Took an Uber.
Took a golf cart. So now Jay with a 2-out chance. Pirates have already put up 5. We're in the 4th. 8 hits.
One more. I want one more run out of this inning. I'm going to be greedy. Come on.
Wait, Trevor Williams has pitched.
Give him a nice, comfortable 5-run lead.
I mean, he might go into the 7th today. He hasn't done that yet. If he keeps up this pace. But we talked about the Mets. I mean, you know, they can score. That's something that they have not had problems with. That's why I think you want to get another run here in this inning.
It's why also I think it's a good example of what we always talk about. You know, the pitching is the foundation of a team. It's tough to every single night outscore people. You know, outslug them. It's hard to do over 6 months. You have to have that pitching staff in place first, and then figure out a way to get the runs going.
Yeah, the Mets were one of the best pitching teams last year. The injuries have thinned them out a little bit. Pirates pick up another run. 5-1.
All-wheel drive RAV 4th inning. Toyota, what drives you?
Pirates enjoying a 5-1 advantage over these Mets. Not only bat day, but ball day for him. Outfitting right there by Jay Bruce. See, now if you put it on upside down, all right, Jay Bruce, native Texan, telling him how to deal with sitting in the dugout and
had to look cool sitting in the dugout.
Yeah, on a cloudy day. Lucas Duda. Jay Bruce, longtime Red. Still funny to see him in pinstripes, but he'll be able to choose his team coming up at the end of the year. Free agent to be.
You might have another color on before he gets to choose, though.
Depends on how the Mets are doing on July the 31st. Yeah.
Doesn't look good. Right now, I'm guessing they're going to be sellers.
Well, that's what's interesting about, say the East versus the Pirates division, the NL Central. I mean, the Mets and Pirates about the same record. Mets are 10 games back. Pirates are 4 games out of first. Now the Pirates are also 5th among the 5 teams. But they're one of those situations where, like the Mets, if Matt Harvey starts to come around, and he did in that second to last start against the Pirates.
There's a lot of ifs for the Mets.
Sure. If Matz comes back, Lugo comes back. We see Syndergaard at some point, Cespedes back. Well, maybe the Mets do go on a run. And Terry Collins said that on Friday to reporters, that he feels like this team is suited for that. Of course, a manager will say that inwardly and outwardly, but there's still time.
Well, it's not impossible. It's just not likely. It could happen. I agree with that.
I'd say the same thing about the Pirates, though. There's been a lot of things that have gone wrong here early.
Now, you just said the Pirates are, what, 3 games out?
4 games out.
4 games out.
But that's what I'm saying.
Big difference.
Oh, yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that, if you've got 4 months to play here, if things go even just a little better for the Pirates, Starling Marte will come back after the All-Star break. Taillon looks.
And the Pirates' record's better
hopefully.
than the Mets, too.
Oh, sure, yeah. By percentage points.
Yeah, I think the Pirates are in a different situation than the Mets are, and that really is what started. The first thing you said was that their division makes it.
4 and 10 are way different numbers in terms of games back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying right now, and for a while it looks like they're still going to be going the wrong direction. It'll. If they do get it turned around, it's not going to be.
Talking about the Mets.
Yeah, it's going to be a while before they get it turned around. So they might even be further away than they are now. So I'm saying in a month and a half they're going to be sellers.
They've got a number of guys that are not under contract for next season, so we shall see. Wilmer Flores not among them. Young, the 3rd sacker. Had a leadoff double in the 2nd inning. Scored the lone Mets run. And Neil Walker was given the qualifying offer last year.
Hey, he could be a free agent at the end of the season. Be somewhere else, perhaps.
Keep talking about Wilmer Flores. He's a good young hitter. Not a lot of people talk about. 2 hits today. And Zambelli fireworks lighting up the sky on Friday. Come out early for a Vero Kia block party on Federal Street. Bob Friend will sign some autographs, and then afterward, Bucks and the Marlins at 7:05 to watch the Zambelli fireworks show, courtesy of PPG. Go to pirates.com/fireworks. Get your tickets. Cloudy Sunday afternoon on Bat Day. Five to 1 Pirates. Anderson a base hit back in the 2nd. The only one with runners in scoring position for the Mets so far today. 1 for 6. Williams has done a nice job. He's worked around the leadoff man on in the first 3 innings. Just the 1 run out of that. He's got 2 double play balls behind him.
Hadn't had that real easy inning yet. It'd be nice to see him get a couple of those.
Getting ahead of hitters with strike 1.
Set down, say 6 in a row. Getting a little bit of a roll, and that always takes care of that pitch count for you, so you can get fairly deep into a ball game. You get a couple easy innings.
And even though he's had runners on, the Mets have at least 1 hit in every inning. That pitch count very manageable. 56 right now. 18 in the first, 15, 9, 14. You get out of this with 4 more pitches, and you're at 15 an inning. which is about what he's been averaging his last 4 starts, and that's about average for a decent pitcher. That sets you on pace for maybe a 7-inning day if he's still this effective. Get d'Arnaud here. You got the pitcher leading off next inning. That is, if they use the pitcher. I don't know if the pitcher would bat in this inning. If it got to that spot. Well, they got Edgin still warming out there, and still nowhere to be found right now. He's still back in the Mets dugout. d'Arnaud grounded into a double play back in the second. Rare 2-0 count against Williams today. You compared Williams in a little bit of a way to Nova when we talked about the opener. What does he do that is reminiscent of Nova?
Well, he pitches contact. He's not, thinking about I got to make this guy swing and miss, this guy swing and miss. He's not really worried about that. Now there's some situations in a game where you are going for a swing and miss, but there are not that many of them. Now he's not having the same success with it as Nova's had, but you can see him going in that direction. Some pretty darn good movement on that one. d'Arnaud will be talking to himself now.
Flores at first with 2 outs.
Williams not happy with the location on that pitch. Didn't want to run the count to 3-2.
He's only walked 1 batter in his last 3 starts. That came back in the first inning.
He was trying to throw a strike right there. He's going for contact. He knows he's got a nice lead. Just nobody walks. Stay out of 3-ball counts. Once you get to 2 balls, and everybody's got a hit. And that's why he was upset with himself, because he did not want to miss with ball 3 there.
And Freese with a nimble play to end the inning. And Williams again puts up a 0 thanks to some nifty glove work by Mr. Freese.
Designed by Major League Baseball to celebrate youth baseball and softball participation throughout North America. And these were the giveaways here at Citi Field and all around home ballparks in MLB. Nearly 200 clubs throughout Major and Minor League Baseball have provided more than 300,000 youth plastic bat and ball sets, just like the one you see right here, given out to distribute in both ballparks and community events. Now, in addition to that, players, coaches, and managers all wearing the Play Ball Weekend patches on their uniforms as well. Now, for youth baseball initiatives, contact Chris Gantner. Email playball@pirates.com for more information. Next Sunday is when the Pirates will give away their bat and ball sets at PNC Park on a Sunday Kids Day. And the message for Play Ball Weekend is very simple. Just go out and play ball, regardless of your age, gender, or level of competitiveness. And how about this, Joe and Bob? Over 25 million people participated in both baseball and softball team sports in the USA last year in 2016 alone. How about that?
That's really fun, and thanks for that. And yeah, Chris is doing some great work. So, you know, if you're running a youth league or anything like that, you know, definitely make sure you take a look at that email. You know, young and old, really, for
got
that
one
matter.
right here. These are nice bats too. I really like. I wish it wasn't orange instead of bats, but we'll get that fixed in a little bit. But these are sweet. Hey, Joe, come at me like a curveball, will you?
Yeah.
See if I. Oh no, you.
Oh,
spin at me.
You want to hit me? Oh yeah, good solid contact there. Hit me right in the chest. Pirates going to be giving away bats on Sunday. That'll be their play ball day.
Got the ball right here. This is going to be a tough ball to hit. All the little holes that you're going to be throwing unbelievable curveballs.
Yeah.
This will be great.
Snap of the wrist.
We should take this to Baltimore with us.
There you go.
Have a game out on the side of the grassy hill there, Fort McHenry.
Yeah, the Pirates enjoying an off day tomorrow. Maybe we'll
take it up to the fort.
Hey, Greg Brown can teach us how to play wiffle ball.
Is he a good wiffle ball player?
Oh yes. That's one of those you didn't know tidbits about Brownie.
Really,
he's really good at wiffle ball.
That's his game.
That's his game. Yeah, wiffle ball. I don't know if I could say star because I don't know if he's gotten the publicity yet that he deserves, but he would be.
Well, the plastic bat's a good weight for him.
Hey, for me too. But that's the whole initiative. You know, the play ball initiative is go out there and hey, if you want to play some wiffle ball, great. You want to go play catch, great. You know, just go out there and play ball.
Yeah. Put the apps down and go outside.
David Freese, a couple of nice at bats today. He's driven in a run both times with a single and a sac fly. I played some, slow pitch softball. Kind of make some friends, that kind of thing. You know, in different cities I lived in when I worked in the minor leagues. It's great. It's fun. Played wiffle ball growing up a lot. Love doing that. Just having a catch. Snapped his bat. And the Mets as part of Play Ball Weekend as well. And a dedication to a baseball field here and a longtime PR employee of the Mets too, and a field dedication here to Shannon, who passed away.
Had him in a pickle there, didn't he?
Yeah. And kind of thing that is a nice remembrance, but also something that can live on. You know, the kids just going out there having a good time, and I think that's nice too. So giving kids an opportunity to play ball. There's usually a field in your area. And like Robbie said, it doesn't have to just be for kids too.
That's one of the great things too. But the wiffle ball and your driveway is your field. You have a pretty good wiffle ball game. Just decent sized driveway.
David Wright was part of the field dedication. Beeper ball as well. The Miracle League. The one in the South Hills. I know that Sean and Mandy Casey run, but all the people that run them all throughout our viewing audience and throughout the country. So really an inclusive sport in many different ways. Josh Bell's been playing since he was 5 years old. Tyler Pill trying to get through one more inning. 86 pitches. Has had only 1, 2, 3 innings so far. And he'll have another. His spot due up in the bottom half. That might be it for Pill. Yeah, the Pirates leading 5-1. A lot of these parks now with something like that. And that was it for Tyler Pill. TJ Rivera gets one swing as the pinch hitter for him.
It's more of that soft contact and that one swing.
One pitch, one out.
This is what I was talking about. He can get a couple of quick innings now, and I mean, easily have a shot at throwing 7.
Williams has yet to pitch into the 7th as a starter with the Pirates. Clint Hurdle, maybe with a little bit of cushion if he continues to be effective.
Oh, he's got a nice, comfortable lead. His pitch count is in good shape. This is just number 64.
And Pill done after 5 innings, 5 runs, 3 earned. Of 8 hits. Conforto with 2 hits today. This time in the light rain right to McCutchen. 2 quick outs for Trevor Williams. MLB.com at bat is your #1 mobile app for live Pirates baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. You get Pirates home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. Two quick outs. Asdrubal Cabrera coming up. First time that Williams has sent down the first 2 men of an inning. Don't really need the sunglasses today, but they look cool. Cloudy and a little light rain today, but that should be it. Yeah, Paul Sewald, rookie right-hander, looks like he'll be next. You saw a little bit of the raindrops there. Not enough to stir the patrons, though. Cabrera hitless in his last 12. Just got a piece of that one. Hoping for better days for the Mets.
I don't think it's going to be their year, but it's still a great time out at the ballpark no matter what.
I don't know if it's no matter what for her.
I'm not sure it's raining that hard either.
Yeah.
It is just a little bit of a light drizzle.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's waterproof-ish. So's that. Got to bring your all-weather gear, right? Just in case. Or if you don't come prepared.
What do you mean? You brought a scarf.
Yeah.
It's being prepared. Keep the rain off your eyes.
The old mesh back caps. That's called a strike. And Williams with his first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. He and the Buccos lead 5-1.
Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive, we're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Pirates trip to New York, hoping to be successful. Always fun to visit the Big Apple. Empire State Building. Double-decker tour bus. You ever think about being one of those tour guides?
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
I've thought about it quite
yeah.
a bit, and then I always decide against it.
You've got a lot of fun facts at all times. I think you would be a tour guide in just about any city.
And when I don't know, I can always bluff my way through.
5-1 on our UPMC scoreboard.
I'm full of fake news.
You fool me all the time.
I'm full of something.
Paul Sewald. Rookie right-hander in relief of another rookie right-hander, Tyler Pill, the starter.
Sewald had a little bit of a tough go Friday. He was part of that 7th inning, wasn't he?
Yeah, they almost doubled his ERA.
Or was it 7-run 6th inning? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, 7-run 6.
I know there's something. 7 had something to do with it. 7 train.
Maybe the Tides are turning for Sewell. Bit of a crooked cap there too. I kind of like this old timey. I know guys who've done that for the last this Sabathia era, I suppose. Look back to kind of reminded me a little bit of say Christy Mathewson, or I was trying to think of a New York Giant. They used to wear that same interlocking NY on their black caps with the orange.
That's the deal with the Mets uniform, man. A little something from each New York team.
Right. The
Giant logo, basically.
And the Brooklyn Dodgers, Dodger blue.
Dodger blue, and then the pinstripes, I guess, from the Yankees.
Yeah. Yankees were the only show in town for a couple of years after the Dodgers and Giants moved out west in the late 50s. Mets debuted in '62. Jordy Mercer been swinging a hot bat tonight, though. 0 for 2. Casey Stengel managed both the Yankees, of course, to great success, and he managed the Mets to finishes in the National League every year. Well, of course, this was right as they were born in. They show it's kind of neat, actually. They show down in the bottom level here, they show all the different covers of the souvenir yearbook from year to year.
Right.
And the first one, they've got a baby. Of course, they're a new team. After about year 4 or 5, they're showing some steps on the ladder, and they show the team's record. And, you know, I think the best record at that point was like still 100 losses. But as you saw there in 1969, in their 8th year of existence, they won the whole thing. The amazing Mets. They amazed everybody and captured the hearts of especially those out in this borough.
Started a tradition of amazing pitching.
Ah, yes.
That's really what you'll see a lot of on those covers, or some of the great pitchers they've had.
Like Tom Seaver.
Yep.
Right there in the right.
There's one picture down by the of him down by the elevators where he's holding the baseball, kind of showing it to the camera, and it says 20 wins, I think 289 strikeouts and a 174 ERA. I mean,
that's Seaver's 41.
Who does that? You know, I mean, it's just amazing.
Especially when guys didn't strike out nearly like they did.
289 Ks.
Also give you 40 starts in a season, right?
Well, that's true too. They're getting a few
Ron
more
Darling
opportunities.
Part of that '86 Mets championship squadron.
They had a rotation that you could easily argue that every one of them would be a number 1 or a number 2 guy on any other team. The whole rotation was like that.
Yeah, with Nolan Ryan and Jerry Kuzman headlining that 69 bunch with Seaver. Tug McGraw finishing things up. A fireman.
Got a ring here in New York, and then one with the Phillies.
Your teammate, 1980. First Phillies World Series. That stays fair. Extra bases for Cervelli. His second hit today. As the number 8 hitter, that brings up Williams here in the inning too.
It's always an important deal for that number 8 hitter to, when he's up there with 2 outs, find a way to get on. He gets the pitching spot, the number 9 spot, out of the way for next inning.
Pirates with 32 hits in this series already.
And if Williams can come up with his first hit of his career, got a shot at coming up with the first RBI. They had one last year?
They had one last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But he doesn't have a hit. Just an RBI. There's a ball loose in right field. How did Joey Cora spot that? He's the one that tried to stop play to alert everybody.
Well, that's good positive thinking that Trevor's going to hit one out in that spot.
Yeah. Cora wants to make sure he can wave home Cervelli. 2-out double.
He hits one out by the bullpen gate. He can.
Outfield usually very shallow up the middle and then to the opposite field for a pitcher, and this is no exception. Anderson, who always plays shallow anyway, but Bruce is in. They'll double dog dare you to hit one out that far.
Get out early and hook the ball right down the third baseline. If you would have had that plan, you would have just swung and missed for strike 3.
Got some real estate there. And called out on strikes. 2-out double left on. But Williams back to the mound with a 5-1 lead.
Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Does he pitch for the Mets? 5-1 Buccos as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Yeah, they all got that long flowing hair.
I think they should have a wig night here. Give everybody
That's a
wigs.
great idea. DeGrom and
maybe like attached to a hat.
Syndergaard. Shoot, even Gazelman last night. In the Point Park tweets, Brian saying his sons are both going to be playing in a game against a challenger division team today. Good lesson on how almost anyone can play ball. Absolutely. Little League starting that probably about 20 years ago now, and letting kids with physical and developmental challenges play baseball too. I mentioned beeper ball earlier. Kids with sight difficulties can play. Adults as well. The Miracle League, which has been a big part. Pirates have been very active in building Miracle League fields as well. Go out in the backyard and play catch. Anything. The play ball initiative, I love it. It's inclusive and it's far-reaching. Leadoff man on for the Mets for the 4th time today. And next Sunday, a Kids Day at PNC Park when the Bucks play host to the Miami Marlins at 1:35. Arrive early and enjoy the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. And all kids 14 and younger taking home a special kids-only giveaway. After the game, kids can run the bases too, right on the field. So go to pirates.com/kidsdays.
Well, one thing for sure that's going to happening here for Trevor this afternoon, even though he's pitching a pretty good ball game, he's having to do everything out of a stretch.
Last inning was the only inning that he retired this side in order.
And a lot of first hitters getting on base. But it's making it work, and that's all that counts. Try and throw one inside to him and get it in there.
And we'll see how Williams does, even though the pitch count's still very fine, but he's only completed the 6th inning once so far. He's getting ahead of hitters with those first pitch strikes. He has gotten a couple double play balls today. Hoping to keep that pitch count very reasonable. Walker grounded into one his last time.
We're into the part of the game now where Clint is, if he has a lead, he's not reluctant to go to that bullpen at all. The bullpen is very strong at the back end. Any kind of a problem here. I see him having a fairly quick hook.
Another weakly hit ball.
What was Trevor doing? I think Freeze is telling him,
get away from me.
Yeah, what are you doing?
He went over to help.
If you want to help, make sure no one else comes around me.
He was kind of in the vicinity of Freeze there.
Well, if Freeze is the kind of the old-time kind of veteran on this team, he's not. There you see Nicasio's heating up quickly. He's not going to be shy about telling a young pitcher, "Hey, the pop flies are for the infielders, not for you. If you want to help, you just direct traffic."
Just point to the sky. See some pitchers do that, right? Hey, it's a pop-up, guys.
You can't blame them. Sometimes they don't know that.
Duda hitless today.
How about this?
They get one.
80 pitches.
Pitcher's best friend. 3 double plays on the ground by Trevor Williams today. And he has kept the Mets to 1 over 6. music from the Clarks, coming to Stage AE on June 24th. Trevor Williams getting 3 double plays behind him. 80 pitches through 6 innings, gave up just the 1 second inning run. And like you said, he's managed pretty well with runners on today.
Made good pitches when he's had to, staying out of the middle of the plate. Got the ball on the ground the right times. And now Josh Edgen will try to keep the Mets no farther behind.
One pitch and 1 out. Left on left matchup.
A lot of balls off the end of the bat for Frazier today. That swinging bunt. Remember the strike 3 early on, ran down away off the end, and this little pop fly off the very end of the bat. Chasing the ball away a little bit.
He was locked in for a while there. 19 for 39 stretch.
Oh, he'll be locked in again. He's that kind of hitter.
Still got 2 hits today. You know, I mean, what do we want from the guy? He's hitting 300. So is Josh Harrison. 308. John Jaso, one of the. Oh, as Harrison struck with a pitch. Oh boy.
And the leg again. Always gets it in the leg.
He's been hit 10 times with a pitch already this season.
7 or 8 of those have been in the leg.
Yeah.
Usually he doesn't react like this either. This one really stung him. See where it got him.
The back foot.
Yeah, I think I might have got him on the ankle bone, just above the shoe. The inside of the right ankle.
I was right.
What'd you say yesterday? It's got him in the ankle just above his foot.
Something like that.
I'll be remembering that one all year.
And Todd Tomczyk, the head athletic trainer.
And squeeze on it. Does that hurt?
Yes, it hurts worse. Thanks. Only Anthony Rizzo has been hit with a pitch more times.
This was 40 years ago. They'd be spraying that cold stuff on it now.
Numbing agent?
It just didn't do anything.
Oh. Now there's the leaders hit by pitch.
Made your skin cold.
Clint Hurdle out there as well to check on Harrison. Max Moroff stretching out in case he's needed. Might be that it just takes a moment, or making sure that there's nothing more serious than acute pain. All right, that's good news. So you hit and run here?
Can't stop a locomotive.
So
the first thing you do is, if you're pitching, is you pick off throw.
Just to test him out. Well, Jaso, who we've seen in times past, would almost never be permitted to face a lefty. He's had a couple of hits off lefties lately, and including in that last series back at PNC Park. Had a hit off Edgen, that game-winning single in the 10th inning. 2 of his 3 hits as a Pirate against lefties, but already one against Edgen this year. Juan Nicasio there if needed, but I think Williams is going to start the 7th. Edgen on in relief of Paul Sewald, who pitched a scoreless inning. Imagine out of Mercersburg, PA, near Hagerstown. Finished up his college ball at Ohio State. David Freese has driven in a couple of runs today. Jaso's brought in one. He's got 2 hits, scored a pair. If the Pirates can win today, they take the series. One and 2. Go around the horn. And a scoreless frame. Looks like Trevor Williams going to go back out for a 7th inning for the first time in his Pirate career. About to challenge the play that ended the 7th inning, and they didn't get to challenge it until after God Bless America was sung, and that's why Jim Reynolds right now explaining to Terry Collins what happened. They challenged whether Neil Walker took his foot off the bag prior to receiving the ball, and he did, as the umpires in New York ruled during the break. playing this
the
challenge.
umpires in New York. Oh, the ones that aren't on the field. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. In Chelsea, not the ones in Queens. I forgot where we were. Thank you. So, yeah, the call was overturned. So we're still in the top of the 7th inning. And so it ends up just being a 5-4-3 put out on Jaso, and Harrison reaches second base. Remember, there's no neighborhood play anymore. Once they created that slide rule a couple of years ago at second base, that there's no room for anything else than that. So now Edgin, who's been in the dugout for 5 minutes.
Well, I'm sure he'll be allowed to warm up again.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to come back out there now, and we're still in the top of the 7th inning, even though it has not been played in 5 minutes or even more. And now baseball puts up a 30-second clock. There's a clock now in every ballpark that gives the manager a 30-second window to have the video staff review the play and then be able to challenge it. They never flashed that 30-second limit on there, and then the umpires were about to receive the challenge from the Pirates, and then God Bless America started being played. So respectfully, Clint Hurdle took off his cap. He stood out there and then informed Jim Reynolds and company of his intent to challenge. And then during the break, it was indeed overturned. So we're still in the top of the 7th.
Very unusual situation, but.
And during all that time, Josh Harrison, who was hit in the ankle with a pitch, I'm guessing that maybe it stiffened up a little bit on him, or they had a chance to look at him a little bit more. So Max Moroff is going to pinch run for him. So at the end of or perceived end of the top of the 7th inning, Clint Hurdle asking for time. Tom Prince, the bench coach, back with the video crew. He wanted the challenge, and then God Bless America was starting. So he had signaled within that 30 seconds.
He stopped the umpires, but he didn't stop the singer.
And so Todd Kipnis is the reason why it took 5 more minutes. He sung a beautiful rendition. And
now does he have to do it again after we get the 3rd out?
Well, yeah, it's not quite the 7th inning stretch yet. And a base hit. So Moroff, the pinch runner, is going to be waved home. And Bruce's throw is late, and the Pirates get a run thanks to that challenge.
That's a beautiful sound, isn't it? The bows.
Wow. So David Freese with his 3rd run batted in today, and all because of that challenge, saying that Neil Walker didn't tag the bag at second. The Pirates pick up a run.
Well, nice job right there by Freese. Gets that kind of a backdoor breaking ball, and he didn't try to do anything with it other than hit it back where it came from. And then in this case, that's right through that hole on the right side.
And Walker has been upset. Moroff just in, scores the run. And the inning not over yet. Trevor Williams doesn't mind keeping the jacket on a little longer. Got a larger lead. Ball's got a lot of English on it. Cabrera made that look easy. But the Pirates steal a run. Hey, why don't you stretch again? Now it's 6-1. talking over matters with David Wright.
Here you see it again, and the foot is. You know what? I'm surprised they overturned it. It was that close. I mean, is that conclusive? I don't know.
They may have had another angle in New York that we didn't see.
Apparently it was. We're in New York. In Chelsea, not New York.
Yes, sorry. The Chelsea district of Manhattan. We're in Queens here. Better to be more specific.
That was the last out. It was the kind of a little bit of a collision there.
David Freese, 3 separate times he's driven in a run today. Walker still upset at that call, ended up costing a run. Meanwhile, Trevor Williams patiently waiting. Max Moroff now behind him over at second base. He pinch ran for Josh Harrison. It was hit in the ankle with a pitch. So this is uncharted waters so far for Mr. Williams. First time pitching into the 7th as a starter as a Pirate. And Clint Hurdle was talking about it today that, you know, despite you know, Nova, who goes deep into games, Cole typically going deep into games, though he's been in a bit of a rut lately. Need some of these younger guys to start pitching deeper into ball games, and this is a good sign. Williams 6 innings last time, 6+, maybe more here this afternoon. 6 1/3 with strikeout number 3. And if you get to, you know, 7 innings with 1 run, and he's facing the bottom of the order here.
I mean, I'm curious to see what will happen here if he gets, let's say, gets this inning over and he's sitting at 92 pitches. Will he pitch the 8th? It's 6-1. You don't have to. The score is not going to dictate him coming out of the ball game.
I would guess they would call it there. Not that I disagree with his ability to continue going forward. If he has a relatively quick 1, 2, 3 inning, why not? But probably with a young pitcher who hasn't done it before, they'll probably take the next step the next time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just throwing it out there as a possibility.
Anderson 1 out of 2 today. That's been a great thing to see. Now, the other question comes up, and Jamison Tyone is going to make a rehab start on Wednesday, and of course, coming back from testicular cancer surgery, there's never any linear path necessarily, but if he has a successful outing with Indy and everything continues to go the way that it has been, and thank goodness it has, he might come back to the rotation pretty soon. And if that's the case, well, then who leaves? And I asked Clint Hurdle about that this morning, and you know, they haven't made any decisions yet, but they've made some commitments to some young pitchers. Cool, Glasnow, Williams. It's going to be one of those 3 guys, of course. But you know, the way that Williams is pitching right now, he's starting to separate himself from those other 2 guys. At least as of, you know, these last 5 starts, including today.
I agree.
And Chad Kuhl's had a couple of good starts in there, but he's had some tough ones. Glasnow has been learning throughout the year. But there's also the added thing. Well, then what do you do? Is Clint Hurdle kind of voiced out his line of thinking to the reporters today? Do you unplug them? Do you etc.? I mean, what is the best way to serve the pitcher too? Because you know, we talked about it this year in spring training ad nauseum about Glasnow, for instance. If he continues to pitch at the major league level, he continues to you know, make some mistakes, learn from those mistakes, continues to grow. He's not been challenged at the minor league level anymore. What do you do there? Chad Kuhl has shown over stretches of time he can be a better than competent major league starter, a very good starter in some stretches, but he's been inconsistent lately. And I mean, I'm talking over 6 weeks now.
Well, the easy answer for me is just, are you trying to make it to the playoffs or not? If you are, then who gives you the best chance of winning games? Now, if you don't have a chance to make to the playoffs, like there have been situations like that with our team in the past, as we know, then you look to maybe developing somebody at the major league level for down the road. So I think that goes a lot into answering your question. It's an easy answer if you're thinking about winning this year.
Yeah.
Then it's, well, who's your best pitcher? Who's going to win more games for you?
Granderson just getting back in time.
But I also, everybody that's asked me that, and that question's come up a number of times of late. It's to me, it's, you know, that 10-day DL makes it awful easy to kind of rotate some guys in and out of that number 5 spot. We've seen the Dodgers doing that. So, you know, that could also be a possibility.
And to keep the innings down for young starters. Williams, another strong inning. 7 strong innings from Trevor Williams today. Just the 1 run. Longest outing of his big league career. 6-1 Pirates. For Mr. Williams. His career best 7 innings, got 3 double plays today. He was just really sharp and had to work with men on a lot today.
Yeah, I like that first shot with that ground ball up the middle. It's right over the top of the mountain. You can see he wanted to try and throw his glove out at that ball, and he realized, no, don't do it. Let it go through. This is going to be a double play. There's somebody back there. A lot of young pitchers will try to catch that ball, and all they'll do is knock it down. They won't get it out anywhere. But he's using his head out there most of the time. He is coming along quickly.
And this Mets lineup has been scoring a lot of runs. We talked about that. Been hitting home runs today. Just the 1 run. Struck out 3. Scattered those 7 hits. Really set the tone early. Leadoff double to begin his day. And stranded Conforto and worked out of trouble with a plum.
Only threw 95 pitches through those 7 innings.
Yeah, there's reason to smile. And so the Mets turn to their 4th pitcher of the afternoon. See Neil Ramirez.
Ramirez numbers this year. You know, another thing about the 7 innings with the, what was it, 95, 93 pitches? Cuts.
95.
Is that, let's say you were in a situation where the bullpen had been taxed, and Williams, it's 2 or 3 months from now, it's a couple months from now, where he's, you know, a little more built up as a starter, that, you know, not making just his, was his 5th start or 6th start here, then you allow him to throw 115, 116, 17 pitches, and he can maybe go out and give you that complete game in a day like this, where he's got a nice comfortable lead, and you really are dying to give the bullpen a day off. So I mean, that's a really nice pitch count, what he threw up there today in this game, getting through those 7 innings and staying below 100 pitches.
Yeah, and it's not an aberration, because in that last start, you know, he went 6 innings. They pulled him. He was only at 67 pitches. So we're seeing that theme now. Jordy Mercer with his first hit today. Knew couldn't keep him down long. Back-to-back Bucco base hits to start the 8th.
He's a decent.
The Pirates with another big hit effort today. 12 so far this afternoon, after collecting 10 hits yesterday and 13 in the series opener. Cervelli's got a pair of hits today. McCutchen with 2 hits today. Mercer garnering his first. It's nice to see the offense. I know last night we talked about, the Pirates were 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position. I don't mind a night like that because that means you had a lot of chances to score.
Yeah, as long as that's not a theme.
Right. You do that all year.
Yeah,
well,
there's every now and then that will happen, and that kind of gets you a little frustrated. But they're making up for that today. They are getting hits when they count. 2 out base hits. Freese just got one last inning after the long delay to knock in another run, build that lead a little higher.
They're 5 for 9 today. Phil Goslin out on deck. He would bat for Trevor Williams. And Ramirez pitched at length back on Friday, a 30-pitch effort through 41 pitches on Wednesday. So he's been used a lot lately. And he has filled the bases with nobody out. So Goslin coming out to bat after a great day from Trevor Williams on the mound. And look at our Point Park tweets on Trevor Williams today. Great to see 7 strong. And that's Trevor's Twitter account. The longest outing. Yeah, Ryan saying that. Enjoy. Congratulations on an amazing game today. It's starting to become a theme. This is not something that just happened today. Williams really that last. Really, as you pointed out, Bob, since that first inning against the Dodgers, where he gave up 6 runs.
All created because he couldn't handle the couple of tappers out to him. And that opened up the possibility of a big inning for the Dodgers there in his first start, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, his first start of the year in with family and friends coming up from San Diego. Yeah, he was visibly nervous.
Yes, that was, I'm sure, part of what was going on there with him, but he's gotten rid of that now.
So Goslin with a chance, recently recalled. And the Mets only get 1. Give Goslin a run batted in. And now it's 7-1.
See a few fans booing about this.
Walker right on the bag.
And they're going to challenge the slide, I bet you, at second base.
Goslin beating that out.
We don't know that's what they're going to challenge, but
we may or may not be informed of what.
If I was the Mets, that's what I'd do just to make a point. You know what I mean?
And the Mets are challenging the play at first base.
Oh, at first base.
To see if Goslin indeed beat it out. It looked like he did, but in the 8th inning.
Wow, that's really surprises me.
They're going to take a look and see if Goslin was indeed out. Run scores regardless. There were nobody out, but would add an out and take away a run batted in. But it looks pretty clear that he was safe there.
I don't understand that at all. I could see. I mean, either challenge. Either way makes no sense.
And it was immediately confirmed.
But the one out at second base, it's like that's your protest vote for the call before. But that right there, that's just, to me, that's silly. I don't get that.
The challenge.
Well, what was the reason for it? You're not even challenging anything. It's not even a close play. And like I said, second base, the slide's not close either, but it's a protest challenge.
Now Adam Frazier, 2 out of 4. Getting a word on Josh Harrison. Right calf discomfort for Harrison. That's why he was left the game. So it must have been hit more in the calf than the lower foot.
You get a good bruise in there. You get it all knotted up.
Right out to Conforto. And Mercer's going to try it. And he's going to score standing. Sac fly for Frazier. It's 8-1. You think he challenged him because of the 2 throwing errors by Conforto earlier today?
No. No, I mean that
was deep enough.
Yeah. Oh, heck
okay.
Yeah. Score standing up.
Easy call for Joey Cora. Go ahead.
Yeah. Wait. You got a lead. There's 1 out. If there's nobody out, that's the only time you might feel a little like, you know. But with 1 out, yeah. I mean, if you don't go there, you're never going to go. Obviously, now there's 2 outs. If you're going to make an out at home plate, make it the 3rd out.
So Max Moroff in there for Harrison, who left with that right calf discomfort. Max 1 for 10 with the Pirates, but absolutely was tearing up Indianapolis with the long ball. Tied for the International League lead in home runs with 13. A switch hitter. And that should be the final out. Pirates add 2 more. Got an 8-1 lead. Streaky George Springer as the Astros now have homered in 12 straight games, won 9 in a row. And Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates enjoying a one-sided lead here late. Trevor Williams went 7 strong innings today.
Martinez on here, and some 21 games now total on the year,
including his time with Milwaukee. And for Trevor Williams now, an ERA of 2.83 over his last 5 starts. That doesn't include the first one against the Dodgers. So, I mean, that's now a month of starting where you're posting a sub-3 ERA. That's no aberration. That's starting to become a theme. Now, a lot of guys can do that for a month. Can he do that for a second month? Can he, or at least somewhere in that vicinity?
Well, I think he's at the point now.
He's trending upward.
And this was kind of a little bit of a discussion we had earlier. He's pitching himself into a regular gig.
And remember, you know, when we were looking at spring training, right at the end of spring, he kind of looked up and said, wow, Trevor Williams has really pitched well in the spring. And so much so that the Pirates were implored to keep him on the roster. He started in the bullpen, but he made the ball club by doing a lot of the things that he's been doing here in recent starts. So Conforto has been on 3 times today. I'd like to see a walk with a 7-run lead in the 8th. Let's check out our Nissan road ahead as the Pirates are done with the Mets after today. They'll enjoy an off day tomorrow and take on the Baltimore Orioles at Camden Yards. Ivan Nova, no stranger to that ballpark, against Kevin Gossman and then Chad Kuhl. Have some family coming up from Delaware, I'm sure. Face the lefty Wade Miley. All the action at 6:30 for you. Mets have hit into 3 double plays today. Cabrera called out on strikes his last time around. And with a 7-run lead, Conforto will get what he wants over there. Been a dreary afternoon for the Mets. It's been cloudy. It is lightly rained throughout the afternoon. And Trevor Williams, every time the Mets started to get something going, he stopped them in their tracks.
No, you've done a great job today staying with the train thing.
And now the yard goat comes on, and right, and Martinez. Pull him in for the night.
Sounds like you grew up in Conway instead of Detroit.
Bell gets the lead out, and there's Martinez to complete the double play.
Very nice.
3-6-1. That's tough to turn. Nicely started by Bell.
That's the thing. That's where I was going to go with this. Is Bell is I can't tell you how many hours he's put in practicing this right here. You know, going to his left and then spinning with the throw to second base. And he
nice in between hop he scooped too.
Perfect. There was no extra little crow hop or anything. He spun. He get the back foot planted and put a nice strong throw right on the money, right over the second base bag. Nice job.
Mets have grounded into 4 double plays today. Good to see Bell's growth over there at first. And a rough afternoon for Terry Collins and company.
Yeah, they had a difficult. Washington's coming in right after this.
Yeah. Well, we're past that 1/3 point of the season.
They are way behind Washington, as we said earlier. But 10 games.
Yeah, starting the day.
They need to do some good work against the Nationals. I know it's only June, but if they are going to get back into that race, they can't afford to have the Nationals come in here and even really take 2 out of 3 for them.
Terry Collins was saying on Friday to reporters, he said 1 hot streak. Mets are right back in it. And he described his outfit as a veteran club who kind of did everything right last year. Many of those same pieces are here, but some injuries.
Well, if they can pull it off, it'll be very impressive.
And Marinas with the double play. Rebounds nicely in the 8th.
Check out the Barrel Hot list at barrel.com. Now the only way to buy a car. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Buccos enjoying an 8-1 lead as we start the 9th. And some changes as Curtis Granderson now moving over to right field. He had been playing over there in center. And Juan Lagares, the excellent former Gold Glover, takes over in center.
And we have a steam locomotive in the game now.
Josh Smoker did not go to Purdue. Jaso with 2 hits today. The Pirates have not had too many of these this year. A one-sided victory. They have played a lot of tight ball games.
The offense has been kind of below average for most of the year, and you don't get a lot of these. The games that you're winning, they're fairly tight.
Pirates have played tied for the most one-run games with all the other teams in baseball. 20 one-run games.
Should be a pretty happy train ride down to Baltimore.
Yes,
after this one.
Traveling via the rails, which Clint Hurdle said his first time in about 30 years. He estimates that he's been on that. Should be a happy train ride.
The last time we did it, it was dark most of the way down there. It's going to be kind of neat with it being able to look out, see what we're passing.
Pirates hope to not be passing the Reds, but at least tying them. The Reds trailing right now in the 7th inning. Pirates have been in 5th for most of this season, but can pull up with the Reds, and depending on what happens with Milwaukee today, they're up in the 5th inning. Might even find themselves within 3 games of first. Okay, so on for the 3rd time today. Let's check in again with Robbie.
Well, guys, on Tuesday, it's Twitter Tuesday again here on Root Sports, and our guest is reliever Felipe Rivero. Been regularly throwing in the triple digits. Last couple games, Felipe Rivero will take your questions. Use the hashtag BucksTuesday, and we'll get some of them on the air. Anything you would like to know about Felipe Rivero, go ahead and have at it. We'll answer them in the pregame and some during the game as well. Joe and Bob.
I'll enjoy that. I love talking with Felipe. He is a lighthearted, free spirit, a tremendous competitor, and just really relaxed.
I'll tell you what, he's become, I don't know how anybody could argue this, one of the most dominant relievers in the game.
Absolutely.
I mean, his stuff is just absolutely amazing, and he has grown into having enough command of it now that he just can wipe people out.
And if I'm, the manager of the All-Star game, that's a guy I would take. Now that the All-Star game doesn't matter, I understand it, but in terms of determining the home field advantage in the World Series, but that would be a guy I'd pick if I'm looking to win the game. How about David Freese today? 3 RBIs, 3 hits. Really had kind of been off to a slow start since coming back from the disabled list in his first 20 games today. Looking more like he did prior. I mean, he was probably the Pirates' most consistent hitter prior to going out.
Yeah, he really came out of spring training doing a great job. It's good to see him get 3 knocks this afternoon.
Pirates have collected 13 hits. Josh Bell still looking for his first. Did drive in a run back in the first. Team leading 11 home runs. Homered in the first 2 games of this series. Bucko Brigade making their way to the concourse. Smoker with the first out here in the Pirate 9th inning. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Great afternoon for Freese. Tony Watson. Pirates have not had a lot of close leads lately, so trying to get him some work. Garrett Cole. Charting pitches, perhaps?
I would say no.
He might be playing Sudoku. I don't know, but something.
Charting pitches is a thing of the past. That's one change in the game that I would have loved.
Now you guys had to do that, right? It was the starting pitchers had to.
Yep, I hated it. Wasn't exactly real accurate anyway. Always what
breaking ball, fastball.
Yeah. Anybody see that? What was that?
What'd you get on the gun?
No, we didn't have them. There was no speeds. If you had a good fastball back then, the other hitters would tell you. There was no speed. Scouts would have a couple of guns up in the stands.
McCutcheon puts a charge into that one. A 3-run home run. And the Pirates are smoking the Mets 11-1.
It's only been a week, but getting the feeling maybe he's coming back. Wow. That was a nice one there.
3 hits and 3 runs batted in by McCutcheon today. Well, he's really hit lefties well all year. That he has been consistent on. 9th home run for McCutcheon.
Second game of this series, they've reached double figures.
It is great to see him driving the ball with regularity again.
Like a little slider, kind of down and in. He smoked it out of here.
Or narrowly the second out. Well, since he's been put in that 6th spot, he has really responded.
Little slider coming down and in about knee high on the inside corner, just drops the head of the bat straight to the ball. Now, that's the ball you want to be pulling. You know, earlier we saw him pull a ball out down toward the left field corner. It was a ball that was up and in. Those are the ones you turn on. So you get something slow, down and in, and off speed pitch. That's what you want to pull. Now, if you're pulling fastballs, to the third baseman, you get that same pitch you just hit out, you're going to pull that 20, 30 feet foul. You're going to hit it hard, but you're going to pull it way foul. And we're not seeing him do that. We're seeing that belly button go out toward center field. That's what Jeff Branson was telling us the other day. When he's doing what he wants to, when he finishes his swing, you'll see the belly button go out toward center field. Not swing around and be looking in the dugout.
And he has worked, talking about McCutcheon and Branson, Jeff Livesey as well.
Very hard.
They've worked a lot of times. You know, they're here at 2 o'clock working on stuff like that.
They've been bringing him out to the field also at PNC Park early, not in the cages, but out there on the field, so he can actually see and track the flight of the ball as he's hitting it to right center, right field. It's important for the hitters to kind of see the results of what they're trying to do. In the cage, they're like, okay, that felt good, but it traveled 10 feet and hit the netting. You know, so you're not getting that really good positive feedback as you would if you're seeing the line drives carry out to the warning track.
And so now for McCutcheon, and you noted, it's more of what he's doing at the plate than being located in that 6th spot in the order. But for convenience sake, since he's been there, 387, 3 homers, 8 RBIs in 9 games. But he's hitting the ball to all fields.
Right. It's what he's doing at the plate.
Driving
it's the difference, not where he's at in the lineup.
So the Pirates send up 7 more men and score 3 times on McCutcheon's 9th home run of the year. Another off day tomorrow before opening up a brief 2-game interleague series with the Baltimore Orioles on Tuesday. Join us at 6:30 for Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason as we get you set for the Bucks and the O's right here on Root Sports. Cool to see a teak jersey out of here. Cool to see the Pirates with a double-digit advantage as we start the bottom of the ninth. Andrew McCutchen with a 3-run home run, padding the lead. Three hits today. David Freese with 3 hits and 3 RBIs today as well. Trevor Williams 1 run over 7 innings. And Neil Walker was miffed earlier today on an overturned challenge during the 7th inning stretch that ended up leading to another run. When things are going your way, they're going your way.
Tony, kind of the mop-up role here today, coming into an 11-1 game.
Trying to get some work.
Yep. You can't sit out there in the bullpen all the time. You got to come in and get a little exercise for that left shoulder. So if you have a run of games where there's no save situations, you have to pitch when you can.
I was talking with Watson about that a couple weeks ago, and he said that he learned a lot from Mark Melancon about that, being down in the bullpen with him for a number of years, and how Melancon was able to try to navigate those times, because sometimes you might be asked to pitch 4 out of 5 days. And sometimes, like we've already seen this year, you may not have a save opportunity for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden,
you have 3 in a row.
You need him all the time. So he's used a certain variety of stretching, lifting, things of that nature, side throwing. But also, he and Clint Hurdle have gotten to a point where Watson can go to Hurdle and say, hey, can you get me in today if you can't? I need to get in there. He says about 6 days is his max without pitching. He's got to get in there every 6 days or so. Then the cobwebs start showing up. Which is a much different role than what he's had. Working in the 8th inning or
well, you
7th.
You get to get into, when you're down by a run, when it's tie game. So there's more opportunities when they want you to actually go out there and pitch. Whereas the closer, well, that's only when you're ahead, and only when you're ahead by 3 or less.
Kind of a specialty pitcher now.
It's kind of over the years almost become a baseball rule. Expect to see it in the book when you open it up.
Yeah. High fly. Quickly 2 up and 2 down for Tony Watson. Check out this tweet from Jason. Let's take the series. Absolutely. Why not? An out away from victory. Neil Walker held hitless against the Pirates for the first time in his career. Flores 2 hits today. Trevor Williams scattered 7 hits over 7 innings today. Longest outing, just gave up the 1 run. In line for his 3rd win. Pirates really showing off with the bats in this series. Double-digit runs. Flanking still a double-digit hit effort yesterday. despite just the 2 runs.
And they've done that in a lot of different ways, not just one-dimensional. They've been able to get the ball over the fence. They've scored with the actually getting base hits with runners in scoring position, with no outs, 1 out, 2 outs, a little of everything. Diversified. You got to be diversified.
Yes,
that's what they tell you here in New York.
And a tidy ninth for Watson buttons this thing up. Pirates with a resounding series win in the finale, 11-1.
Yeah, this was a very nice series for a number of different reasons, but especially for the offense. As we were just talking about, the way they've found different ways to score runs and score a bunch of them. This has got to be a big confidence booster for everybody involved in that offense.
And also an emerging Trevor Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Trevor maybe taking his biggest step forward as a major league starter in this game this afternoon.
Well, the Pirates win it 11-1 today, and let's go out now to Danny Teague.